I had only lived in Chester County, Pennsylvania, for 3 months when I first heard about Miller's farm. Everyone in town knew not to go near it after dark. The stories were whispered, tales of strange lights, missing people, and the eerie stillness that surrounded the land. Some claimed it was haunted by the Miller family, who mysteriously vanished in the summer of 1984. Others believed something older and darker lived beneath the soil, something that didn't take kindly to trespassers. As a journalism student desperate for a story, I wasn't about to let ghost stories scare me off. If anything, they intrigued me. Maybe I could turn this town legend into a feature article or even a documentary. So, on the night of July 5th, I grabbed my camera, flashlight, and a notebook and headed toward the edge of town. The road to Miller's farm wasn't marked. I followed directions from an old man at the diner who warned me, "If you hear anything once you're inside, leave. Don't ask questions. Don't look back." I thought he was being dramatic. The entrance was nothing more than a rusted metal gate hanging crooked on one hinge. Beyond it stood a farmhouse, decayed by time, and a leaning barn, half swallowed by the surrounding woods. The sky above was unusually dark, no stars, no moonlight, just a blanket of black. As I stepped over the gate and into the tall, dry grass, everything went silent. No crickets, no wind, no sound at all. It felt like walking underwater. I made my way to the barn first. The door was slightly ajar, creaking as it swayed. I pushed it open and the smell hit me like a wall: mold, rotting wood, and something else, something metallic and sharp. Blood. My flashlight flickered as I stepped inside. The barn was filled with old farming tools, cobwebs, and symbols etched into the wooden beams. Circles, jagged runes, and crude stick figures painted in what looked like dried blood. I raised my camera and took a few photos. Then I heard it. A faint whisper. Barely audible. Almost like breath brushing against my ear. "Return?" I froze. I called out, but my voice felt swallowed by the dark. The whisper came again. Louder. "Return?" I spun around. No one was there. Suddenly, handprints began to appear on the barn walls. Dozens. Small, large, some impossibly long. They smudged through the dust like something, was dragging its fingers across the wood from the other side. Then the barn door slammed shut behind me. Panic set in. I sprinted to the door, but it wouldn't budge. I kicked it, slammed my fists against it. Nothing. That's when the red lights appeared. At first they looked like distant embers. But they grew, hovered, and began circling the barn like silent sentinels. My flashlight died. The air turned ice cold. I could see my breath hanging in front of me. And the whisper became a chant. "Return. Return. Return." Then something stepped out of the dark. A tall, grotesque figure. Its skin stretched thin over bone, eyes missing, and its mouth sewn shut with barbed wire. It moved like smoke, its limbs too long, its neck tilting unnaturally as it stared at me without eyes. It pointed. I couldn't breathe. "You were called?" A voice echoed inside my skull. The creature didn't speak with a mouth. It spoke straight into my mind. The barn began to shake. The rafters groaned, hay flew, tools clanged. The thing stepped closer. I fell to the ground and screamed, and then everything stopped. The cold. The lights. The whispers. Gone. The barn door creaked open as if inviting me to leave. I didn't think twice. I ran. I didn't stop until I was inside my car, speeding down that broken road, heart racing, hands trembling. When I finally got home, I reviewed my camera. Every photo inside the barn was corrupted. Just static. Except one. The very last picture. It showed me standing inside the barn, eyes wide. And behind me, a shadowy figure with jagged teeth and a stitched mouth. Its hand was resting on my shoulder. I couldn't sleep that night. Or the next. Strange things started happening. I'd hear footsteps in the attic when I was alone. My bedroom mirror began fogging up from the inside, though the room was dry. My phone would turn on in the middle of the night and start recording, always when I was asleep. Then came the scratches. I woke up with deep red marks across my back. No explanation. The worst part? They formed a word. Return. I started researching the Miller family. Most of the records had been lost in a courthouse fire years ago. But in an old newspaper archive, I found one article dated July 6, 1984. Miller family vanishes. Blood discovered in barn. Police baffled. No suspects. No bodies. Just a diary left behind by the father, Daniel Miller. The final entry? "We took from the land and now it takes back. Every 40 years it returns. We were warned. Now we understand. The gate is open." It clicked. I checked the date I entered the barn. July 5, 2024. Exactly 40 years since the Millers vanished. I dug deeper and found a name, Luke Harlan, a farmhand who worked for the Millers. He was found wandering the fields naked and screaming the night after the family disappeared. He was institutionalized and died in 1985. But in his final interview, one thing stood out. He whispered the word return 37 times before biting off his own tongue. Now, I think something followed me back. My cat refuses to enter my bedroom. My plants have withered despite constant care. When I shower, I swear I see a figure behind the curtain, long limbs, dark silhouette, unmoving. Every mirror in my apartment has started showing me slightly wrong. My reflection smiles when I don't, blinks when I don't. Last night, I heard my mother's voice calling me from the hallway. She died 3 years ago. I locked my door, turned on every light, and sat in bed until sunrise. At 3:03 a.m., my TV turned on by itself. Static. And through the static, a whisper. You belong to it now. I don't know what it is. A spirit? A demon? A curse? I just know it chose me. And it won't stop. I tried to leave town. I made it 20 miles before I saw red lights floating along the side of the highway. My tires blew out moments later. When I checked the rearview mirror, I saw it sitting in the back seat, just smiling. Every time I fall asleep, I dream of the barn. But the last 2 nights, I haven't woken up alone. I wake up to find muddy footprints in my apartment. Symbols drawn on my windows and condensation. And one word carved into my bedroom ceiling. Return. I'm writing this as a warning. If you're reading this and thinking about going to Miller's farm, don't. If you hear the whispers, run. If you feel the cold, pray. And if you ever hear the word return, spoken from a place no voice should come from, it's already too late.